Hello, creative friends. So I thought that maybe I would share with you the whole process of this creative challenge that I co-hosted with my wonderful friend Concy, and it's all about just creating a mark every day. So here I just created kind of a grid on watercolor paper, and I'm going to add a little bit of paint so that I can do my little square every day. But you can do this in an art journal page. You can do it in the same format. There's so many different ways that you can do this. But every day there's a prompt, and I'm going to show you how I did the prompts. And I hope that you follow along. I mean, most of these prompts takes less than 5 minutes to do, and it's just all about just starting to kind of get your creativity out. So we're going to move on to day one. So day one is thick and thin. So I'm just going to take a white marker, paint marker, and I'm going to make thick and thin lines. So super simple, right? You can go as kind of detailed as you want with these challenges. So you can pause here and then move on to day two, or you could even do them all together too. And day two is what we're going to move on to next. And for that one, we are going to add in some metallic. So I'm going to make some dots, super simple, and I'm just using a metallic pen here. So nothing too fancy. So that's how that looks. And then we'll move on to day three. And this is one word. So you're just going to repeat one word over and over again. So I'm just using different size pins and I'm kind of overlapping them. And I love this technique so much. And you can kind of dry it off and go in and do it. And you could just do one big word and that would work out too. And we're going to move on to day four. So day four is echo. So I am just going to draw some hearts and then I'm going to go around them and create an echo. And if you want more ideas, you can follow the hashtag on Instagram. I will connect it so you can see how people did these prompts. There's no wrong way that you can do it. I'm using a lot of different supplies here, but you could just use this, a ballpoint pen or a colored pencil and a crayon and it'd work out too. But I just want to give you some ideas. So these are just little quick little prompts that you can do every day to kind of get your creativity flowing. So this is day five, and the prompt today is brush. So I'm going to go ahead and just make some flowers. So I'm using a big round brush and I am going to make some flower shapes. Really fun, super easy, right? Just small C shapes, and then I'm going to add some leaves. But so many wonderful ways that you can interpret this prompt. So very, very simple and easy. And don't worry about it. It's not supposed to be cohesive or anything like that. I'm going to show you how you can kind of bring everything together. So this is day six. And for day six, we are going to do layered. So I just grabbed some scraps that I had on my desk and I love adding tissue paper and I'm just going to add layers. So very, very simple. But again, there's so many different ways that you can interpret this. That's how that looks. And then we have day seven. And for this one, I am using my opposite hand, my left hand to create doodles. So that's pretty fun too. So just grab that non-dominant hand and create something really cool. We had one lady on Instagram and she actually did it with both of her hands, which was really cool. So it's so much fun. You have no control, but I really love just not having control. This was a really fun prompt. Definitely one of my favorites. And let's move on to day eight. So for day eight, we are going to make dashes. I love dashes. I use them all the time in my work. So I'm just going to create some dashes with my paint pens and kind of vary them a little bit, right? Because variation is a fun way that you can kind of play with your art too. So adding something big and something small, even if it's the same element, it really makes it pop. But I just really want you to just embrace the process of doing these simple exercises. Okay, so for day nine, we're going to grab a feather and I'm going to use it as a stamp, but the prompt was drag a feather. So this was a really fun one. People interpreted it in such a cool way. So I'm just going to use it as a stamp and stamp it out, but you can do so many cool things. Some people actually created with the bottom of the feather too. So really fun, super duper easy. And let's move on to day 10. So for day 10, you're going to grab its outline. So I grab my favorite stencil and I'm going to outline in the spaces. And I love this one. It was a super cheap one and it just has letters and numbers. So really fun, super easy. I love the way that it looks behind the paint. I think it's really cool. So I'm just going to trace inside and create this really cool outline. But there were so many cool techniques that you could do with this too. So if you need inspiration, make sure you check out that hashtag on Instagram. So, day 11, we are going to spray our watercolors, and the prompt today is bottom of a jar. So, I am using this hand sanitizer bottle, and I love the marks that it makes, and I'm just using some cheap watercolors here, and I'm using it as a stamp. So, very, very easy. But you can use whatever kind of cap you want or the bottom of the jar. And it'll work out great. And some people did these prompts in such cool ways. So, in day number 12, we are going to make spirals, which are my favorite. You know how much I love spirals. So I'm just going to make spirals over and over again. You can even do this on white paper. I did prep mine, but you can do that even with markers and it will work out great too. But I'm just using different sizes of paint pens and I'm making spirals, which are my favorite thing. I love how they're clustered together and so very, very interesting. So those are fun. And you'll see here that I do have subtitles, and that's because I did this on Instagram. So I did the voiceover over there. So for day 13, we are going to do thumbprint. So I'm just taking my fingers and an ink pad, and I am going to create little butterflies. But you guys know how much I love butterflies. I have a whole class about them, which is so much fun. So I'm a little bit obsessed, but these were so cute and adorable. Great to do with your kids, but people had so many other interpretations. So day 14, we are going to grab some sponges because that's a prompt and I'm going to stamp with them. So I just have watercolors here, cheap set, and I'm just going to stamp them out. So I just cut off a part of just a regular kitchen sponge and I'm just going to create texture. And you can take these prompts however far you want. So maybe you do this and you want to outline, the marks that you made. So definitely make it your own. And this is just kind of a starting point, but you can take it as far as you want. But it's just to give you a lot of really cool ideas, hopefully. So for day 15, we are going to do splatters, which are also my favorite thing. I love this challenge so much, as you can tell. So I'm just taking sticky notes, and I'm going to take a few colors of paint, and I'm going to add some splatters. I'm just covering up kind of the places where I don't want the splatters necessarily to go, but you don't necessarily have to do that. But I love splatters. So really fun. That was a little bit subtle, but I'll go in the red so you can see it. But it just creates a really cool and interesting background. So I love it. Add a little bit of black. We want some contrast. I love contrast. And that's the great thing about doing these kind of challenges is you figure out what you like. So that's how it looks. So I'm going to peel that off and we will move on to day 16. Which is pencil. So I am just kind of taking a colored pencil and just making kind of like scallops, and then I'm going to fill them in with colored pencil. So really very simple. I was not very inventive for this one, but this is what I wanted to do. Sometimes I like to keep it simple. And I'm just filling it in with colored pencils. I like colored pencils. I don't use them enough, but colored pencils are kind of how I got into making fine art. I made a sunset. My mom sent me to this art class and I had so much fun. It was so great. It was totally what I needed. And colored pencils are such a beautiful medium. And I'm just going to go in with a black Stabilo All pencil and kind of activate it. It's a really cool pencil in case you haven't used it before. It adds a really beautiful dark line. I will link it in the description of this video too, in case you want to grab one. So day 17, we are going to do florals. So I'm just have a white paint pen here, and I'm just going to create really pretty florals. Very easy. Doodle it out. Simple, simple, simple. I just kind of want to fill up that black um, with beautiful white flowers, and I kind of left some white. So you can also grab a sticky note too if you kind of want to keep things contained. But I just kind of like the variation of the black and the white. So the contrast. Really fun. And this was fun. I definitely want to explore this technique. This is great. Like, these are things that I wanted to try that I never got around to. So I have more motivation just by watching the videos with you. So it's pretty cool. So day 18, we are going to do bubbles, which is so cool. So I actually am going to make bubble paint. So I have just bubbles, and I'm going to blow them out, and I mix them with ink, and it's going to create this really cool kind of paper. And what happened was I removed the glass, and I really liked how it looked with the glass, so that how the paper underneath caught all the bubbles. So that's what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to, grab a piece and collage it. So you'll see that. But you can do this technique on book pages, so many cool things. I think I have a video that I did it, in slow motion before a long time ago. So you can go check that out. It's definitely on my channel. And I'm just going to glue down a piece of paper. So day 19 for start with the mark, I am going to draw a bunch of black lines, and I think the prompt was grid, and I'm going to fill them in. So again, very, very simple. You don't have to do anything crazy, right? It's just fun and easy and simple. And I just like the contrast. And you could fill them in with colors, but you don't have to do what I do. You will totally take this prompt wherever you want. There's so many ways to make a grid that are much more interesting than the way that I'm doing. But it was fun. I had a good time with this. Fun. And if you're not comfortable, feel free to copy exactly what I do, and then maybe try the challenge again and mix things up. And when you feel comfortable, do it your way. So, day 21. So, we just have a couple more days for this one. I'm going to do scrape. So, I'm just using a piece of cardboard, and I'm going to scrape down some black paint and then scrape into it. So, very, very simple. And I'm making scribbles and all sorts of things, but it's so fun to kind of scribble and scratch into paint. So I'm going to add a little bit of white, and then I'm going to scratch in some circles. So really, really simple. Don't be afraid to play, to let things dry, to layer on top of things. So day 21. And we did have a live, which was so much fun. And we got to see and speak to people about how they found this challenge. So for day 21, I am going to do rainbow. So I created a rainbow just with paper scraps. So really fun. I really hope that you tried this creative challenge. We're going to do it next year, hopefully. And it's just really fun. There's so many fun ways that you can do challenges like this. Make sure you visit me on Instagram and check out the hashtag if you want to see how other people interpret this. I think we had a really good showing, and people definitely, it helped them a lot, which is always great too. But remember, art is easy, and all you need to do is start with a mark to just create something that relaxes you. Art is so great for stress and just for building confidence. So I'm a component. I'm going to show you in the next little video how I actually use this, because I did turn it into a piece of art. So I'm just going to do a technique called masking. So I just take white paint, and I am just going to make a shape. That's it. And in circles, and then I'm going to fill in between the circles. And I had to add a couple layers, and I'm just going to kind of let that dry and then play with those circular shapes. So I kind of have this little peek of this process, which is so much fun. And I'm going to add some charcoal. Very, very easy. So I'm so happy that you joined me. I love process art, and I think that you should just take time to create art because it makes you happy. So I hope that this has inspired you to do that. You can pause this video and, do the challenges one at a time and really take your time. But this is just a video where all of them are together. So here's the prompts. I hope that you'll join us. Happy creating. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.